You want to see what happens when puppy is pit against daddy? Hello! Welcome back to
What's Safeword?
I'm Aaron.
I'm Mr. Kristofer.
And today,
We're talking about one of my favorite things.
today we're going to be talking about armpit fetishism. And this fetish is also known as masculagnia, which is a partialism or sexual attraction to a non-genital part of the body.
What was that word?
Masculagnia.
Gesundheit.
It can also be referred to as hercusophilism, which is an underarm hair attraction.
I think I like the other word better.
Which one was that?
Gesundheit. It's especially desired with people with hairier armpits or stronger odors. The more pungent the odor, the better.
In all, there are a number of different attracting factors to the armpit. For some people, it's the smell and how it just kind of attracts them. For others, it's the look, how hairy or smooth something is. Or it might just be the sensations that revolve around the armpit. In all, it's a very hairy situation.
No. So for smell, there's been lots of research trying to figure out if pheromones are the cause of the arousal. I know personally, I put off a strong odor while you do not. And I tend to get boys by just going, "You want to smell, daddy?" And they do.
Oh, you do? You get just tons. How many boys?
Tons of boys. Just tons of boys. No puppies. No puppies. Smell, daddy.
There are plenty of places on the human body that do that. The neck, the hair, the genital regions, and the armpit specifically.
So hair is a big factor in putting off the smell.
It is. It does help, and it can make those pheromones and secretions of the bacteria stronger or lesser depending on how you manscape or just treat your underarm area. And as far as smells and pheromones go, a study done by the University of California found a chemical androstenedione, which was found in the armpit and was said to actually increase libido and decrease stress levels in those that were smelling or huffing a partner's armpit.
So kind of like poppers.
In a way, yeah, like poppers.
So it's kind of a natural high. A body makes a natural high for you.
Yes.
I've found that a lot. If I smother someone with my pit while I'm jacking them off, they start to have the same sensations as if they're breathing poppers.
You keep talking about these other people. Who are these other people you keep talking about?
Oh, you wouldn't.
No. Another study done by the University of Northumbria actually showed that the presence of sweat or that smell and that musk could actually change the person's attractiveness.
Northumbria. That sounds like a made-up university. Is that where the littles go?
For people that hitchhike, they're going north with their Northumbria. Northumbria.
Do they make a pit stop before they get there? Points!
Oh, pit crew! Turns out RuPaul's actually really into pits.
Yes, during this research, they showed women, a panel of women, pictures of men and asked their attractiveness.
And then they took that study with a brand new group of women, but they had a musk and an underarm sweat kind of smell to the room, and it actually showed all men were more attractive to some women based on that smell. So would you say that someone who has not showered, or maybe they're just fresh off the gym, are they more attractive to you generally?
Yeah, my pig, if we're gonna have a session, I won't shower after the gym for the full day because he doesn't like the smell of me being clean.
And sweat actually comes from the bacteria in the underarm. So the more hair we have there, generally the more sweat, bacteria, smells are going to come off of that. And it may be that your pig who you play with is actually attracted to your smell because it's different than his. Opposites tend to attract in that way. But scientists also think that the smell that we give off and secrete as far as bacteria also has to do with our immune systems. And so we tend to find people that complement us in that way as well.
Sure, and I find my diet actually changes the smell of the sweat as well. Garlicky, that kind will make it more pungent.
I was gonna say something, but some cultures like that of China, Japan, other North Korean places are actually said to sweat much less than, say, us over here in America.
Sure. And we have 400 receptors in our nose that tell our brain different things.
And based on how those receptors all work together and interact, you might be more attracted to a certain food or a certain person over another. Next in our section of armpit factors is the look. And similar to the smell, some cultures can actually find the armpit more sexy or more of like a perverse area because it is something that's not seen as often. It's kept clothed, it's kept hidden.
Just like preference to a brunette or a blonde or a redhead on the top of your head, Armpit hair is completely different too, and some of it's a little wiry, some of it's softer.
And your preference for that can change depending on the person's look style. As far as how an armpit can look, I mean, it can be natural. Some people prefer that, like,
Big and bushy.
sure.
Or trim and short.
Some people like trimmed, some people like it completely shaved.
And then there's also the aesthetic of it. When I grew up watching gladiator movies with someone with their arms tied above their head, there's a vulnerability to that as well, or being arrested. There's something very attractive about for me, the male armpit.
So it's almost like a submissive action to have your arms up and you're submitting
And
in
they're
such
just
a way.
vulnerable to be tickled or...
Something tells me that's a personal.
It's very personal, yes, thank you. I love tying a boy down. Again, boys way before you.
Tying boys down, huh? All the boys?
All the boys.
All the
boys.
Other things that make up the basic look of the armpit include someone's muscle tone. Maybe they have really nice lats and armpit. Yeah, armpit muscles. Their hair color, like you said, the texture of their hair, as well as how they keep and upkeep, the aftercare of maybe say you shave your armpits.
In another study of Men's Health magazine, 4,000 men surveyed said 68% of them do trim or shave their armpits.
With 52% of those men saying they did it for aesthetic reason and 16% of them saying they did it for athletic reasons.
Athletic, right?
Athletic reasons in the gym afterwards, if you know what I mean. With all those boys, right? The final part to our armpits that we're going to talk about today is the sensations that revolve around it. There are so many nerve endings within our armpit. It's a very sensitive area. So with all those receptors around the armpit, it's no wonder that we gravitate towards that area as far as just touching and making sensations.
Sure, and one of the biggest ones that you even knew from childhood was tickling. Everyone's always ticklish under the armpit, or most people are, especially daddy. Nope.
No, you can tickle me, it's okay.
I know, you're not ticklish, that's no fun. And while you don't give off an odor, I love licking your armpits. You put off this nice salty, sweet, puppy sweat. So good. Turns daddy into a puppy.
And along the same lines, fucking is actually something that people do a lot with armpits. Like the people that fetishize armpits a lot will sometimes have unlubricated or even lubricated sex with a hairy armpit or a just smoothly shaven or even a somewhat prickly. The different sensations around there can actually be really nice for some people. It's known as axilism.
And also there's a funny name for it called bagpiping. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think it's kind of fun.
We couldn't get off that one scot-free, could we?
Yeah.
Like
see,
Scottish people,
better.
bagpiping?
Mine was better.
It's not a competition. Well, it's just because this topic is the pits. Would you say that when someone first tries armpit fucking, that's popping their cherry, and cherries have pits, which comes back to the armpit fetishism? Full circle.
That is a stretch. So what do you do if you're into armpits?
Armpits really aren't that scary. They're not something that you should feel threatened by because it's just another zone in your body that's easy to stimulate.
It's kind of hot.
It is for some people, and it's also a lot less threatening than penetrative sex.
And for me, it's a really good boy magnet.
What would you say? A lot of
puppy
boys?
magnet, a boy
Oh,
magnet.
okay. We'll have that conversation later. Speaking of conversations, though, it's important to talk to your partner about that. If you're into something like armpits, don't approach the topic with, well, I'm into this thing that you might have to deal with. It's not something they have to deal with. It's something they get to deal with. Make sure that if you are the one being serviced, if your armpit is the one that's getting all the attention, that you treat it properly. If your partner is into a nice sweaty armpit, don't put deodorant on. If you're trimming or taking care of some hair under there, make sure that you properly aftercare it. Make sure that you're not going to get any blisters, it's not going to get chafed, or you're not going to get any ingrown hairs, because that's going to be super, super painful under there. But most importantly, if you're going to be partaking in some armpit fetishism, always have a safe word. And today's safe word, Daddy, is
Deodorant.
because like deodorant, it's always good to rub on a fetish, one layer at a time. You want to slowly introduce it. You don't want to like cake it on, because then it's all powdery and gross.
If you have a hairy comment, leave it down below.
Or if you want to shave it for later, you can just, give it to us on Twitter. But seriously, leave a comment down below of what you think about armpits. Do you like them shaved? Do you like them trimmed?
I'm actually very curious.
How curious? And we'll see you guys next time on What's a Safe Word. Bye.
Smell that.
Nope, I'm good.
No, come here.
No.
You have to be
Ow. 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 Pain. Ow.
You have to lick it.
Hi.
Right.